Alright, got it all cleaned up. Use a Scotch-Brite, a little bit of 400 grit sandpaper. It is nice and clean. And now we're going to get the contaminants off there. A little bit of brake clean. Just want to get the antifreeze off the belts and pulleys. Just want to get this dried off. Shut that pump off for a minute. Don't need that thing yelling in my face. And follow up with a shop towel. Really want to make sure this is nice and dry. I got you guys kind of zoomed in. I don't know if that probably affected the resolution or the quality, but that's all I got right now, guys. But if this helps you and you don't mind listening to me drone on, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Give me a thumbs up if you like it, or a thumbs down if you don't. Let me know why. Alright, let's get ready to put the new pump on. Get this gasket open. Yeah, there's some directions in here. Installation. Something, clean the cooling system with a chemical cleaner, reverse and flush. We didn't do that, we just drained it out. Drain coolant, remove fan clutch, remove all water pump, make sure there's no gasket left, scrape it off, compare the pumps, be sure certain they match. What else are we supposed to do? Tighten mounting bolts, turn shaft by hand to make sure it rotates. Tighten fan belts, factory specs, fill the radiator, purge the system, install the radiator cap, shut it off, allow it to cool, and add more coolant. Alright. I did get some RTV sealant, and basically I'm going to use that to hold the gasket onto the pump. I'm not going to put a lot of it on there, just enough to so it's tacky, but I'm going to put the gasket on the pump with the RTV, let it set, and then obviously put the pump on the car. So that's the thing with the silicone. Once you open it, tube usually goes bad before you get a chance to use it all. It sets up in there or gets stuck in the tip. You know how it goes. It's a pain right in the ass. And technically I probably shouldn't even be using it, but I'm not going to put a lot on. Again, this is more just to make sure the gasket doesn't move around until I can get the bolt started. I do not have an inch-pound torque wrench, so we're going to go with the common sense theory here and tighten these bolts down. It's a pretty stiff gasket. Let's see if I can do this without getting it all over me. All over my gloves, and then it ends up everywhere else you don't want it. Alright, that looks good. Just a little. And that's it. We're ready to put her on. Oh, the bolts are over here. The hole's clean. The surface is clean. Grab one of these bolts. Do a little test fit here. Ooh, shiny. Probably run these down with the impact just to get them started, and then finish them off by hand. Again, not going crazy. Kind of getting them seated. Come on. Alright, those are in. Now we're going to switch to a hand wrench, commonly known as a ratchet. Where is my ratchet? Where is my ratchet? What can you guys see? Let's see. Yeah, that's maybe better. Zoom in. What do you think? Something like that? That better? Okay. Well, by comparison, it's kind of like a wheel bearing. It's got like a molasses feel to it. So it is definitely definitely tighter than the one I took off. So I'm going to kind of go in a crisscross pattern. You guys know the drill. And just going to get these seated down. Not going to overdo it. It is a cast body. So again, just common sense. Alright, I'm going to call that good. You can see the blue antifreeze, blue RTV kind of squeezing out evenly all the way around it. So I'm going to say that's it. Now, I am not putting the shroud and everything back in because, well, I'm going to change the thermostat. So rather than struggle with all that, I'm going to start taking the alternator off. And let's see, I got to take this little bolt out that holds the air conditioning line. And then these two bolts, I believe they're 15, and then there's one that holds the alternator here. And then I believe the one on the bottom, or yeah, there's one here in the back. Yeah. Got these awesome fender covers my son made for me for Christmas. If you could see that, one says senior and the other one says junior because, well, he's junior. Hand sewed himself. He's works in an upholstery shop and does really good work. So it's something good to have, and I use them quite a bit actually. All right. Whoa! Holy! Hang on to her. Okay, we got 10 millimeter. Which happens to be way longer than it needs to be. And then I believe those are 15. And I turn the compressor back up. In the way? Sorry. And there's one more in the bracket here in the back side that, well, you can't get to because it's on the back side. So this is freed up, and if I come in over here and get my swivels. Should have popped this out before. Okay, it's one alternator bracket. Now, and those are 15s also. Okay, got the two top bolts loose. There's one more bolt on the bottom going in this way toward the engine that the air conditioning hose is right in the way of, and you can only turn in tiny increments. I took the negative battery terminal off. I took both the top bolts out so I can swing the alternator head a little bit and get the connectors undone. I'll lift up on this tab, and like I said, alright, there's one, and the other one has the rubber boot over it, and I think I'm going to get the other bolt, get the bottom bolt out of the alternator so I can swing it down and get to the back side of it. It's just no room trying to do it right now. I think what I did last time was I left the top bolt in a little bit. Basically, I don't want it to fall. That noise you hear is me taking the bottom bolt out. If I had I have ratcheting SAE wrenches, but I don't have ratcheting metrics, unfortunately. So I do this the hard way. And then when you get towards the end, you got to start using the open end, because if you use the box end, then the wrench gets caught up against, like that, gets caught up against the air conditioning line, and it won't come off. It won't come out of there. Right now I'm just kind of wiggling it, taking the pressure off the bottom bolt, working it out by hand. I gotta get that. Woo! Victory! Feel this boot back. That looks like a 10, maybe. No. Let's try it. Yep. Okay, got the cable off. Just put this bolt back on there so I don't lose it. Get this out of here. I can't. Yeah, see. And then I'll leave this bolt right in here. See, this bottom bolt goes, actually all going the same way. Boom. And this bolt we'll put that down there. And see the alternator bottom bolts right here, and you'll see the air conditioning lines right there. This is a steel line, and it's not going anywhere. But more importantly, there's the thermostat. It's this entire pipe right here. I'll get the new one out and show you. Still has the hose on it, obviously, because, well, I haven't taken it off yet. And that's the same bottom radiator hose that I unhooked to drain the radiator. So there's a bolt here on the top, which you can see real easy, and then there's another one down here underneath in the back that you can't see. You can barely touch it, and it's probably the worst thing to get to on the whole truck. And yeah, we're going to take that off. So that's next. Okay, there's the thermostat. Pretty sure you guys are looking at it. It's two 10mm bolts, one on the top, one on the bottom. Got the top one out, and now I'm going to try and get the bottom one out. Alright, well, got it popped loose. Of course, my ratchet is stuck on there. New rule: the guy that engineers it has to be the first one to change it, put a new one on. I like that rule. It's your design, have at it. Once I get it out, I'm going to just pick the whole thing up. Take the whole thing right out of there, because I had to double clamp it. It wouldn't stop leaking. And I got clamped and taped and all kinds of good stuff going on. So I'm wiggling it as I turn the bolt. I'm pretty sure that's how I'm going to have to get it back in there. Alright, all of a sudden moves. There it is. Over there with that one. And now I'm just going to pull the whole thing out. Fish it out of there. And sure enough, I don't know if you guys, can you see that? It's stuck open. See how you can see my glove through the other side here? It is stuck open, you know, and it's not that old. It's not even a year old. So, obviously because it's stuck open, the water starts flowing immediately as soon as you start the vehicle, which is a good thing because then it doesn't overheat because it is stuck open and allows the water to flow. But it isn't open all the way, so the water doesn't flow as good as it should, and because it's not forced to stay in the engine and get warm because the thermostat is stay shut, it just evens out and it ends up about 3/4 of the temperature it should be. And of course it's winter here right now. It's been, you know, 20 to 30 degree range, and I've only been running about 150, 160 on temperature in the truck. So alright, now it's out. I'm gonna take this mess apart here and get this clamp off, get the holes off, and make note of the direction that the hose is coming off so I can get it back on there, and then I'm going to fish the whole thing back down in there. So that's next. Okay, got the new one transferred over. Put the double clamp on it because, well, I don't want any problems. It does come with an O-ring, rubber O-ring, but I just put a, well, you can see what I did. I don't know. It's just so hard to get to. I don't want any problems. You know what I'm saying? So I just put a little bit of that on there, and hopefully that'll keep it where it needs to be. So now I'm going to fish it down in here and try not to get this RTV all over everything. Something like that. Alright, got the one started. tight. Look out, it's loaded. What I did is I slid the bottom radiator hose back on, the bottom of the radiator, which is the other end of this hose. Just, I want to make sure I've got it basically routed where it's supposed to be, and it looks like it is. So, I'm going to try and get this bottom bolt started in by hand, if that's even possible. Basically just starting them bolts in by hand before the RTV dries all the way. Making sure it's basically where it needs to be, and it feels like it is. And now we're gonna tighten it down. Yeah, I definitely would have preferred going through the fender well, but well, you see how much room there is. Don't want to over tighten them, but I don't want to take the alternator off either if it wants to leak at me. So, yeah, it's a 10mm bolt, so you don't want to go crazy. Just want to get that gasket compressed so we don't have any leak issues. Okay, that's tight. That's definitely tight. Okay. Alright, it's in. Woohoo! So there it is. Looks just like the other one, except it's shiny and new. Got a double clamp on there. There's the alternator bolts. Excuse me, alternator wires. And that's where the bottom alternator bolt goes. That's where the top two alternator bolts go. And I dropped a bolt, but I can't even remember where the hell it even went. So I think it was one of the ones for this clamp up here, which I might not even put back on. Save a little weight. Oh, look at that! Look where my belt is. Don't you love it? Alright, time to put it back together. Alright, thermostat's on. Clean my belt up that fell down into my tub of stuff, because, well, that's just how it happens. So I'm going to put the alternator back on. What I'm going to try and do is lay it down in there and get the bottom bolt started so I can have a pivot and something to hold it. And then get the wire put back on the back, swing it back up in there, and then keep going. I have no idea how this is going to go, but let's just do it. Well, actually, I think I'm going to put this wire on first. I am pretty certain it's going to be hard to get to once I get the alternator going. Bolt started. Stay. No, stay. Okay, I took my 10mm wrench. Oh, wait a minute. Found it. Ever close the hood and realize you left wrenches laying up on the cowl? Come on now, don't lie, you know you have. I have. Well, certain satisfaction doing your own work. You know, number one, you know it's done right, or at least to the best of your ability. I mean, if you didn't think you could do it, you wouldn't be doing it, right? And number two, if something's wrong, you ain't got nobody to blame but yourself. But plenty of videos out there like this one, so really there's no excuse not to educate yourself before you get started on one of these projects. Okay, so I'm dropping it down in there. I'm trying to get the bottom bolt lined up, and man, let me tell you, there is no room for anything. Oh, hang on, guys. I need some more light. Why I don't invest in a nice magnetic mount light. That's going to be my next investment. Okay. I guess I don't understand why everything has to fall right in the way. The light never stays where you need it. Wow. Alright, plan B. I'm going to put this top bolt in loosely. That way I know the bottom bolt hole should line up. You know what I mean? At least have it in the right ballpark. I don't cross thread it. Dear Lord. Alright, got the alternator installed and tightened down. Actually, stopped to have some dinner. Make sure these bolts are tight. Okay, now put the pulley back on the water pump. Let's see, alternator. Yeah, I should probably put that bracket back on. Get that over with. Put it on that side. Yeah, let's get this back together. These are 15mm. Here. So I'm getting this one in behind here. That's going to be the fun part. Got to use the extension and the universal. Alright, I got to fish this down in here through that back side. So I'm just going to take a little piece of shop towel, put it in there with the bolt, That helps it so it doesn't fall out. And we'll see if I can fish this in here. Maybe I can get you guys along for the ride here. See if I can do it with one hand. Hang on. Whoa. Right there. There's the hole. And it's way in behind the alternator. And the thermostat is down there. There it is. Right in the middle of the screen. So, let's see if I can hold the camera and fish this in here with one hand. And we're already off to a terrible start here. And you guys can't see a thing, can you? Put the camera right in the way just to give you guys front row access here. Come on now. Well, pretty sure I got it started. Pull this off here. And then I gotta get that piece of cloth out of there. Yep. Down and it goes. So let's see, we need pliers. These should work. I'm actually looking at the camera screen right now because, well, like a surgeon, and we'll just put that down there for now. Seems like a good place. Put those back. I got enough tools out right now, so we got those started. So now I'll put you back up here. I don't know where you can see. I'd like to use the air wrench because, well, that's why I bought it. Look out, coming through. Whew. Pretty precarious spot there. Oh, by the way, this bolt is the one that was dropped on the floor. So, I don't know, spin it around so you can see what you're doing. There you go. There should be 13s. I will finish tightening those after I put the belt on, so I have a little bit of tension. And I gotta take this little collar, protective collar off, obviously, in order to get the Now, of course, I took it off further than I wanted to. There is a diagram on the cowl that's laying on the ground, but we'll see if we can't figure this out. Let's see. Something like that. And the belt kind of had a memory to it. I gotta take, this gives me a little more leverage. A little more throw, so I got more slack. There. And slowly release it. Alright, let's take a look. Okay, looks like we are all back on where it belongs. Well, these don't have to be, you know, super tight, just snug. I mean, obviously you don't want to loosen up, but the tension of the belt is enough to hold it. So I could tighten it down. And it's the 3/8 ratchet, so I'm not trying to overdo it here. But at the same time, you want it to be tight, obviously, but not too tight. So first, I got to get this thing off here. This plastic protecting sleeve, or whatever you want to call it. Yes, it is time for the fun part, which is lowering that cowl in there. And I'm just going to leave the camera on, and we'll see how it goes. Holy crap. Well, there ain't nothing left but just to do it. Terrible start already. I'm going to try and cradle this as I push it down in there. At some point I'm going to have to move my hand. There's actually a little snap-on like I said, it's these lines here that I'm concerned with. Boy, somebody get me a drop light that's worth of crap. This is just insanity. Alright. Let's try and stay off the radiator. Hitting on over there, guys. Man, if we had one other person. Fan is yeah, this is quite the deal here. I'm gonna say this is the most unfun part. Not there was actually a fun part to this, but yeah, I was watching somebody's video, I can't remember now. Oh my. Could it be? Wow. That's pretty exciting. So what I'd like to try and do is I'm going to reach in here and spin this clutch on to the end of the water pump. I'm going to get it started on there because if I let go of it, it's going to fall into the radiator. So I'm going to try and do this while I can see it. Come over this way a little. Okay, so I got that started on there. Let me show you what I was doing. Right down in there, you see the bolt. You probably don't see anything because, well, this light sucks. And I was hanging on to the electric clutch and basically spinning it so it would get started up on the shaft, threaded shaft of the water pump. So I did get it started, and now we're gonna get, there's two pins down there in the bottom that the shroud goes into, and then don't forget about these cooling lines need to go back in those clips there. So that's what we're doing next. You get a real appreciation for jobs, for how much shops charge. You start doing these jobs yourself because, well, it's see, now we're in the spot where I've got to get it past the lines, so I'm going to have to pry out on those a little cautiously. Okay, I pried out on the lines, I pushed down on the shroud while I was holding the lines out, and was able to get it in there. And now I'm going to put the fan back on the clutch. In my opinion, because the fan tightens in that direction and the engine spins in this direction, it's constantly tightening itself as the engine's running. So I'm just going to run that down, well, by hand, using the fan blades, and then just give it a little snug up with the channel locks, and then oh, that's right, I can't use that on there, can I? 13. And then when I start the engine, just the torque of that thing flying around, that'll kind of bring it home, so to speak. Oh, you can tell I've been at it a while. I'm turning the bolts the wrong way. I just have this sinking feeling that I've forgotten something. I don't know. I guess it looked worse than it really is. This job, you know, the actual changing of the water pump was a breeze. I mean, you've seen it, wasn't really anything to it. The thermostat, on the other hand, that is a definite design disaster, in my opinion. I paid a little more for that thermostat, but to be honest with you, it didn't look any better than the one I took off. The original thermostat, we're going to say I put about 20,000 miles a year on the truck. A lot of driving for work. So I didn't change the original thermostat till around 150,000. and that was only because it got stuck open, and that's 2 of them now. So obviously they're designed when they fail to stick open, which is awesome, because otherwise you're on the side of the road overheating because you don't have any fluid flowing, and yeah, that's not good. All right, just spin these around. Okay, now I'm going to spin the fan. I don't know if you guys can see it, but the nut, I don't know if nut's the right word, collar, it's not a bolt, so well, I guess it'd be a captured nut, I suppose. And I'm just about bottomed out here. And there it goes. Alright. Just put these puppies on there real quick. That's it. See, I try to back it off, it won't back off. Alright, don't forget to plug in your electric clutch connector. Okay, getting to the home stretch now. It just all of a sudden starts coming together. That's when it gets exciting. Alright, now we gotta put this hose back on. What do you suppose? This way? Yeah, definitely wasn't that way, so I'm gonna go this way. Oh, she's a tough one. Come on. Oh, gosh. Alright. Okay, that's on. That's on. Basically up to the collar. I don't need those big honking pliers. These will work just fine. It's the problem when these close, though. You gotta get enough grip on them. And I kind of like to put them back where they were. But it's right here on top, so if it thinks it's going to start leaking, then at least I'll know it right away. See, I got to bring these down one. I'm running out of. Right about back where it was. That looks good. Let's get this puppy on. Watch it. I'll get you. Isn't that where we started? That is where we started. Whoa. I don't really like these pinch clap. I like them because they're convenient, but you gotta get them square on there. I mean, I just don't. You know, like I said, I had a problem with the thermostat clamp. It was leaking past it a little bit. Okay, I think that's more where it was. I'm going to pull the clamp. I need those from underneath. I've got to fish my overflow line back under here. Whoa, whoop, 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 whoop. I think it's mine. I didn't break it, but it sounded worse than it really was. Of course, I probably don't need to use the biggest screwdriver in all the land, but it's handy, so. Alright. Got our overfill. a lot out of the tank. But I did have to take this off because it was siphoning out. Because it was still connected. Alright, I gotta duck under the truck and put that clamp back on. Bottom hose clamp. Just gonna snap it on. Nothing exciting. You're not messing on anything. Alright, I'm looking. The shroud is in the pins in the bottom. And fan's good, doesn't rub. Bottom clamps back on. Oh. Alright. It's almost time for blast off. Okay, you guys, you gotta move over here. I'm going to put this tire back on over here, and then we're going to fill it up and fire it up. Okay, it is buttoned up. It is time to fill it. It takes 10 quarts. Of course, I didn't lose all of it. And it does take Dexcool. I don't use the, compatible, Dexcool compatible. I just use the real deal. I believe that's, part of the reason why things last as long as they do. I'm going to pour in this gallon of 50/50 premix first. I got a gallon of full strength down there. And then we're going to fire it up. Turn the heater up on high. Look for leaks. Pray that there are none. Okay, one down. I will pour the old antifreeze, which is behind you guys on the ground, in this jug and take it back to the store. They do have to accept it. I do want to look quick, make sure there's no obvious leaks happening here. Those looks alright. Probably not enough over in this thermostat housing area yet. But alright, let's keep filling it. It's time to fire it up. Open the garage a little. Far enough. Make sure everything's out of the way. Grab some water. I'll be back. Well, that is it, folks. It's up to operating temperature. The overflow bottle's full. I don't see any obvious leaks anywhere. Got good heat. See that thermostat. Maybe we can peek it down from here. that's it. That's all there is to changing the water pump and the thermostat on your 4200 Vortec, TrailBlazer, Envoy, Bravada, all the same. Alright, thanks for watching. Thumbs up, subscribe. Shoot me a comment if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.